Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Stand Your Ground Studio. This episode is entitled Rise of the Gods, and I just want to point out real quick a story that popped up on my feed, which is you can see right here. Iceland is officially worshiping Norse gods again, and what's basically happening is there's some sort of organization that has been pushing for a few years to get official funding for a new temple. So the first time in 1,000 years they have the funding for the new temple, and it's underway. What I want to point out here is how this, again, is they're framing this up real quick as, hey, it's a good thing. You know, we're letting people express themselves. We have all kinds of new spirituality or new ways of seeing things. And almost immediately, it's, what does this mean for Christianity? Let's talk about Christianity for a second. So what you're seeing below is there's a picture of one of their processions that's from a few years ago, and that's from a Washington Post article, which sets the story up in sort of like like Game of Thrones style, where Christianity conquered Iceland 1,000 years ago, but now, and quoting from that article, but now the old Norse gods have once again emerged from the clouds to claim a people once theirs. So for the first time in 1,000 years, they were going to have their temple. So that Washington Post article is from last year. Now about a year later, it's official. It can happen. And you can click the link and read it yourself. It really doesn't take long for them to get to the main point, which is, what are the implications for Christianity? I'm going to let Professor Luke Timothy Johnson tell you all about that. We'll break it down real quick, and that'll be it.
I think that the writings of the New Testament and this sort of study should deeply chasten reflection on Christian mission. Christian mission has always positioned itself as a rescue operation, that people were in desperate straits, were indeed under the influence of demons, and that we needed to, baptize them in the dozens and thousands in order to rescue them. More and more over the last centuries, we've recognized the deep ambiguity of that already, the way in which Christian mission has also been a part of colonialism, a part of a hegemonic project to displace other cultures. It is impossible to read this literature and not to recognize that it is the furthest thing possible from the demonic. It is indeed a form of religious expression from which we can learn much. And at the very least, we need to respect. So respect for the other, and then eventually learning from the other, I think are the stages that Christians need to be at, both with regard to Judaism and to other world religions.
So there you have it, straight from him. Just the context of it is straight up is it's all about Christians, and Christians need to get with the 21st century. I cut it down a little bit just to keep this video shorter. You can click on the link. It's a longer version of exactly that. Looking at it, it's another version of exactly what Lisa Ling did in her expose on the Church of Satan. They start off saying, well, you know what? We don't actually believe in these deities. I mean, we're building temples and statues, and we're literally worshiping them, but we don't believe in the actual deities. And they're warming up the moderate masses to find a different way to express yourself. That's all it's about. It's whatever you want it to be. If you don't like it, hey, that's okay. You can find something else. And what they're definitely coming out saying is they're not attacking Christianity. They just want Christianity to catch up with the 21st century. We're all basically the same spirituality, so if you need to express your thoughts one way and I need to express mine a different way, it's all the same. Let's just be nice. And what they aren't saying is that many of these people actually do believe in these deities, and when you worship something, it's very real. And that many of these deities show up in different civilizations under different names. And of course, this all falls under the umbrella of what this guy right here is doing. Unity through division. Can't we all just agree to get along and understand we have the same spirituality and we're all made of the same stuff? And of course, it's all about false peace and unity. And just like the Bible warns, the road to destruction is wide, the road to salvation is narrow. And unfortunately, their siren song is going to fool many people. So, just putting the word out there. Of course, as a Christian, I can't force anybody to see it my way. All I can do is warn people this is what's happening and to invite them to accept Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior. Thank you very much for joining me. Have a nice night.